Hello everyone, my name is Michelle and welcome to my only video of this year. Today I'm sharing 10 lessons for planning I've learned after 10 years of using journals. So, number 1. Keep your planner enjoyable to writing and easy to carry. These are the 3 I've used to their fullest extent thanks to that. Keep reminders or alarms to force yourself to use it as often as you need to, otherwise it's easy to neglect it or use random sticky notes. Number 2. For the absolute beginner, do not underestimate a future log, regardless of the time of the year, if it's a regular planner or whether you want to pursue monthly planning or not. It is a lifesaver if you forget or lack time to set up a monthly log later on. I use a yearly calendar for this on the last page at the end of my bullet journal, and I limit my space to avoid clutter and focus on my priorities. If it's your first Bujo, I would recommend using 2 or more pages for all the mistakes you'll make while you get used to quick logging. And you can also use templates to save time. Number 3. It is crucial to mark important pages somehow to ensure that you will actually use them. I use tape, fold a corner, or glue pages together because I cannot for the life of me keep up with the suggested index and the numbering of pages. Like shown in my previous videos, I prefer adding watercolor paper and making a cover to set the mood for the month, and also as a divider. In this case, I did this for the start of the year too, since I'm using the same Bujo from 2019, because I still have plenty of space for about half a year left in this blank Midori notebook, and I'm also still using my 2019 collections, which you will see in a moment. For this cover, I traced a photo of my own hands and painted in a sunrise, symbolizing my wish to hold all new opportunities from next episode within my grasp. Number 4. Keep yourself motivated with collections or with scrapbooking. Narrow them down to a few and give yourself enough space to avoid messy spreads, but not too much that it'll feel daunting or empty if you fail to use it. I like to use 4 main collections: a reading list, a watch list, a self-care list, and a projects page. I went from excessive decorations to a few simple tables to write down the titles and the author/director. I use the first letter of the genre as a key to categorize them, and I tick the items when I've actually finished them. It is simple, easy to reference, and I've been using this all year without filling it entirely, so I decided to show this unused footage from my would-be January setup from 2019. Lesson 5. It is crucial to prioritize your health rather than productivity. I learned this the hard way after I burnt out and it took me months to get back on my feet. And that is why I regard this spread as the most important one in my whole bullet journal. It boils down to keeping a few things in mind. For me, it's the 5-second rule, which entails counting down to 5 and then jumping into whatever task when I lack motivation. Remembering to hydrate, eat, sleep, ground myself when I'm anxious, to properly relax, exercise, maintain proper hygiene, and emotional, creative, and social needs. It may sound like a lot or basic, but after doing this spread for the first time in my previous Bujo, I could focus on the habits and changes I actually needed in my life. I talked about this in my September setup for 2018, but I went through a really bad period of anxiety and panic attacks, and I was just really depressed, and the only thing that I found that could actually help me was journaling. That's why I think prioritizing this is so important. a continuation of the previous one with just enough space to brainstorm ideas for projects. It's the one page I keep coming back to when I lack inspiration, when I feel bored, or when a sudden idea pops into my head. I just divided the page into 4 sections, and I just use a very simple list system. Nothing fancy here. As you'll probably notice, this video has clips from different times of this year, and that is because I've had one hell of a crazy one with which I couldn't really upload much. I got married, I moved, I rescued another cat, which you've probably already seen messing up my camera setup, and all throughout this year I wanted to feel creative, useful, productive, but one cannot be or do anything. Which is why my January cover represents my desire to breathe the scenery in, focus on one thing at a time, but keep the motivation from the idea of a fresh start from the new year. Planning can quickly become overwhelming, and it's sometimes difficult to understand one's own limits until pushing yourself over them. So, lesson 6. Simplify and build up momentum towards your goals slowly. Perhaps aim for a little more than you think you can accomplish for a challenge, but do not beat yourself up if you can't reach them. So break down your tasks using your planner. Lesson 7. Take what you can from those experiences and allow yourself to adapt your planning to your circumstances. That's the beauty of bullet journaling to me, the flexibility, the customization. Take advantage of that and don't necessarily follow what others say as the be-all end-all. 8. Use your planner to nurture your learning too. That's the main reason behind my watercolors here, to learn, to create, and I also use my journal to write down notes on other skills that I learn. So it's multi-purpose. Now, for my January setup, I'm sticking to a single page for my calendar and main log. Since I need the visual layout to know what day I'm living in, I use the calendar 2cm boxes, which provide just enough space for about 2 events or tasks per day, which is all I need for now, plus some space for notes, projects, most important to-dos, and a tiny calendar for the next month for whichever main events that I need to write down. And this brings me to the next to last lesson. 9. Less really is more. I sometimes cringe when I think about all the crazy spreads I posted in the past because I really did go overboard and got too ambitious. I feel that I've matured a lot when it comes to my bullet journal planning, and I now find that the less pages that I have to flip around to get to where I need to write saves me time and mental clarity. That doesn't mean you cannot go crazy with decorations if you're so inclined, but they easily become too time-consuming, and it can be difficult to quickly write down what you need to do, which is the main goal of a planner. And finally, lesson 10. Experiment. It's also tied to the past few ones, but I think it's the most important one. You can take all the inspiration you want from every other Plan With Me video out there, but you may need to try several layouts before something actually sticks. I have come to love the simple layout for my habits. It's a 1-line-a-day journaling style that I'll replace with a sentence of gratitude in case I fail to fill it, and it mixes them both in a single page to make filling it up easier. This keeps me optimistic, it forces me to focus on the bright side of bad days, and it's so much simpler than my crazy 6-level mood trackers, which were in the past the most useful for this because I needed to separate my feelings towards a single thing from ruining my day. I no longer need that mental clarity. I've achieved that now, so I've just been using this specific layout for about the past 6 months, I believe. For now, I'm sticking to Plan As You Go dailies and weeklies, and that's the end of this video. I hope you can get some use out of it, that you have a most wonderful new year and decade ahead. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.